All right, Micah, are you ready for this?
Yeah, man. Of course. Let's do it.
Awesome. So, welcome everybody who is watching this and listening to the podcast. This is Real Estate Strategies with Remax Hallmark. And today I have this fantastic guest who is not a stranger to our podcast because, in fact, he was one of the OGs when we first started doing podcasting on Remax Hallmark Driven. He's been licensed as a realtor for 20 years. For a decade, he was running a top 1% team coached by Tom Ferry, coached by Bill Pipes, and now he has been coaching realtors across North America. Today, in addition to being an entrepreneur, investor, he is part of the leadership team of Remax Home, and his primary talent is in acquiring talent, finding realtors who are top performers and bringing them to Remax Hallmark. Welcome, Micah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So last time we interviewed you as a realtor. Today we're interviewing as a member of the leadership team. And we're going to be talking about top performing agents in as much as you are a recruiter for top performing agents here at Remax Hallmark. So first question for you, Micah. What common traits or mindsets separate top performing agents from the rest of the crowd?
Yeah, great question. Like, first of all, they've got a winning mindset. They don't buy into the market. There's opportunities in any market. It's more about how can we gain market share? Where are the opportunities? Do we need to pivot? So they've just got a winning mindset.
A winning mindset. I mean, it's as simple as that. It sounds as simple as that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not, there's a lot of work that goes into that, morning routine, books that you're reading, podcasts you're listening to, consistency, discipline, but you can create a winning mindset by taking certain actions on a consistent basis.
So top performing realtors, Micah, what daily habits and routines set them apart? Like, what do they do differently?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things is, and this isn't in all situations, but for the most part, most top producing agents that I know that I work with have a morning routine to condition their mind to win. So that consists of, reading, books on mindset, on self-help, self-development, technical skills, skill development, fitness, working out. You want to take care of your health and yourself. The healthier you are, the better you're going to perform in business. And then they're very structured, discipline, consistency, their schedule. They really control their schedule instead of being controlled by it.
Yeah, so there's that C word, that consistency. Basically doing things that are investing in their improvement, whether it's health and in, of course, finances and wealth and building up their business. So if there's any specific activities or habits that have the biggest impact on real estate agent, I mean, you've basically identified from an overall, top level, what things they need to do to improve and what they need to practice on. But if there's anything specific as far as what they should be doing or things that they have to maintain on a consistent basis that will impact them to be successful, what would that be, Micah?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously think about this a lot because I work with a lot of top producers. I think one of the main things, if you could just focus on consistency and discipline with a few things, right? With your mindset, so morning routine, then with skill development, right? Those that are practicing are the ones that are going to get the business. If you're not practicing, somebody that is going to get your business. And look, all athletes, all professional athletes practice more than they play. We're fortunate in real estate. We could literally practice 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and be in the top 1%. But for some reason, a lot of realtors have a challenge with that. So consistent mindset, skill development, prospecting, daily basis, non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth.
Let's break that down. So when you're saying, we'll get to prospecting later, but when you're saying skill development, one of the things that you said is practice 30 minutes a day. So what are they practicing, Micah? Like, is it, objection handling? Is it scripts? Like let's go into a bit of detail into what they
Yeah.
should be investing that time into.
Yeah, I always look at what's going to make me more money the quickest. So is it the first opener script, buyer seller script? Is it an objection handler that I need to, master? Or if I have all that mastered, is it my buyer presentation? Is it my listing presentation? And if you've already got all that down, go even deeper, like get every objection handler. But that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we have a lot of these details when, of course, you take courses with us at Remax Hallmark. We do training for that on a regular basis. So, Micah, top performing agents, they don't escape challenges. They also face obstacles and whatnot. So, when you're coaching a top performing agent that's earning a significant amount of income, what do you notice as far as the obstacles they face, and what's the difference in terms of how they approach handling that versus, let's say, an agent who might be struggling in the business?
Yeah. So everybody has different gaps, different weaknesses. So the first thing we do is we sit down and kind of do a deep dive into that, right? And sometimes people can't see their own, weaknesses. So is it their scheduling? Do they need to tighten up on that or get more disciplined with that? Is it somewhere to do with skill development? Is it hiring? Are they hiring the wrong people? I went through a long phase in my career where I kept hiring people that made me feel good about myself because I felt like I was better than them. And I'm just being completely honest here, versus hiring people that were better than me to fill roles that I needed filled. So, we really got to do a deep dive. And then the ones that excel are the ones that are coachable, the ones that, take it on and then agree to take actions, on a daily or weekly or monthly basis to improve and fill those gaps and move their business forward.
So you identified two key things that I want to drill down a bit more. Is that number one is, if you're a team leader, hiring or looking for talent better than you versus yourself, can you dig deep into why that's more effective? Like, for example, I know what I'm capable of. Why should I look for people better than me?
Yeah, like so, one of my weaknesses is I'm not, detail oriented. I've become a lot better at it because I know it's a weakness and I've done specific things to improve it, but I'm going to make sure when I hire an executive assistant that they are very detail oriented, right? And they could kind of stay on, be a backup and stay on top. Now that doesn't mean, let me say this. You don't want to just hire people and rely on them 100% because I've been burnt that way too. Right? You've got to have your finger on a pulse. You've got to know every aspect of your business. You might not have to, be doing it, but you've got to be able to step in and take it back over if you need to. You've got to be able to stay on top of it. Did I answer your question there?
Yeah, and I mean it's more so too again. It's you're looking at somebody who's going to complement your skill set, right? I mean that's really what it is. And same thing with our leadership team is that we've got over 20. I think it's like 25, 26 members of our leadership team now. And there are overlaps, but we each bring something different to the table. Like you do things amazingly that I couldn't ever do, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's sort of what it is for, if you're a realtor and you're starting a team, you got to look for people that are better at you at doing certain things because you'll learn from them and they'll complement
Yeah.
pretty much the team. Right?
Tom Ferry gave me a great analogy because I stumbled with this for a while he was coaching me. And he said, think about babushka dolls. You know those babushka dolls where you have the big one and the little ones in it? He's like, you're the big babushka doll and you're hiring all these little babushka dolls. He's like, in my company, I'm the little babushka doll and I'm hiring all these bigger babushka dolls.
There you go.
And it really hit home. And I still have that, that I look at regularly, that analogy and that visual.
That's perfect. So, Micah, before we finish off, what is your advice to agents in terms of helping them to perform consistently? Because I'm sure during your recruiting appointments, and I know you're heading to one now, so you got to get things rolling for you. You meet all sorts of agents at different points of their careers. So, if you were giving an advice to somebody listening to this or somebody who's watching this, and if you're listening, make sure you follow. If you're listening on the podcast, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment about any questions you might have for Micah. Micah, those agents that are struggling right now, what's your advice to bring them out of their current level and into that next tier of performance?
Well, look, I'm a big believer in coaching, right? Like every athlete has a coach. Humans, we cannot see often our own gaps or, sometimes we need that extra little push. So if you're not with a brokerage that gives you that support, mentorship, and coaching, get with a brokerage that does. Here at Remax Hallmark, we offer that coaching, mentorship, training. But yeah, I think, I've spent thousands and thousands. I spent, this is 10, 15 years ago, I was spending $3,000 a month on coaching, right?
So the investment is worth it, basically, is, if
I just,
rather than you stumbling and learn it on your own, get somebody who can guide you and take the
would
path,
you do
right?
it for a 7-figure business? That business would probably be like a 3 million GCI a year business today in this market. So
There you go.
I'd take that ROI any day.
There you go. Makes sense, right? So thank you so much, Micah, for the advice that you've given us today and for joining our show, Real Estate Strategies with Remax Hallmark. And we'll see everybody and connect with everybody again next time. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Our pleasure.